ahead. It's to be considered.
I'll read.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Last, there is to be considered the recipient of the sacrifice and the manner of the sacrifice. The sacrifice may be offered to others or it may be offered to divine powers. It may be offered to the cosmic all or it may be offered to the transcendent supreme. The worship given may take any shape from the dedication of a leaf or flower, a cup of water, a handful of rice, a loaf of bread, to consecration of all that we possess and the submission of all that we are. Whoever the recipient, whatever the gift, it is the Supreme, the Eternal in things, who receives and accepts it, even if it be rejected or ignored by the immediate recipient. For the Supreme who transcends the universe is yet here too, however veiled in us and in the world and in its happenings. He is there as the omniscient witness and receiver of all our works and the secret master. All our actions, all our efforts, even our sins and stumblings and sufferings and struggles are obscurely or consciously known to us and seen or else known to us and seen, or else unknown and in a disguise, governed in their last result by the One. All is turned towards him in his numberless forms and offered to them with a single omnipresence. In whatever form and with whatever spirit we approach him, in that form and with that spirit, he receives the sacrifice.
Okay. So very interesting para. And there are several references to the Gita. Okay. So what he is saying is, let's have a look. Last, there is to be considered the recipient sacrifice. To whom are you giving the sacrifice? No? So the sacrifice is an offering of all your thoughts and actions and emotions and everything, even your physical possessions also, you have to give to the Lord. So the more you give yourself, the more you will benefit spiritually. That much is clear. But who is receiving? Okay. Sometimes I may give to a friend. Okay. My friend doesn't have a pen, I give him a pen. Okay. My friend doesn't have not even my friend, a beggar comes to me and I give him alms. Okay. I see that my servant doesn't have a pair of sandals, I give her one. So it can be at a very, very human level. But it can also be at a level of the spirits. Okay. You go to Tirupati or anywhere, any temple and offer, but you are not offering to the Supreme, you are offering to gods, Ganesh or Karthik or whatever, so and you are asking for something. So that is the middle term. But you can also offer to the absolute Supreme. That's what he's saying. And everywhere, to whoever you give, ultimately it is the divine at the highest level who is receiving everything. Okay, so this is what he's saying. Last, there is to be considered the recipient of the sacrifice and the manner of the sacrifice. In what way are you giving? We'll discuss both. The sacrifice may be offered to others, to human beings, or it may be offered to divine powers, or it may be offered to the cosmic all, or even to the impersonal. The cosmic all, if you are doing acts of philanthropy, okay, you are not giving to anybody, but you are giving generally to everybody. You are doing charity works. So you are offering to the cosmic all, or it may be offered to the transcendent supreme, to the extreme, to the highest divine. Okay, so anyway, then he's saying the sacrifice, okay. The worship given may take any shape, from the dedication of a leaf or flower, a cup of water, a handful of rice, a loaf of bread. Okay, this is a direct reference to the Gita. What
That
you
is-
pardon?
This one is that shloka, no? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati.
That's right. That's right. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Okay. So that's what Shranga is saying. That it doesn't depend on what you are giving, but without attitude you are giving, that's the difference. Okay. Somebody who gives with deep devotion and he has got, say, let us say he has got only a beggar, suppose he has got only 1 rupee, 50 paisa if he gives to the divine, that has got more value than someone giving with an egoistic attitude, a lack of rupees. So it's not what you give, but with what attitude you give, that makes a difference. I'll tell you an interesting story. Okay, there was someone who had given mother, a very poor person. She had nothing, but she had some good. Good means molasses, you know. This what you call good, you know. I am using an Indian word. Okay.
Jaggery.
Yeah, jaggery, correct. Okay. So mother had kept it on her table, where she used to see others. And every day, Javan Bhai used to see to her food, and Javan Bhai saw that every day she is taking a little bit and putting on her tongue and tasting it. Okay. So one day, after 4 or 5 days, he told her, "Mother, what are you doing? This food has got spoiled. Why are you going on eating it?" She said, "You think I'm enjoying the taste? I am enjoying the attitude and love with which it was given." Okay. So this is actually what happened once. So when you give to the divine, they don't see what you are giving, but how you are giving. What is the attitude? And that attitude permeates and percolates into what you are giving, and that they receive. Okay. So that is the. So what you give doesn't matter at all. This is the first reference to the Gita. And a loaf of bread, the consecration of all that we possess, and a submission of all that we are. So you don't even need to give something physical. You can give your emotions, you can give your thoughts, you can give your actions, whatever you do, you can do that. Okay? So this is there in India very much, because even when you eat, okay, in the West, even in the West it is there. Na? When they eat, they make a prayer. Give us this day our daily bread. Na? They make that prayer and then start eating. Okay, so this is there. It is a universal thing. So there are people who concentrate, but offer the food to the divine and then start eating. Yeah, tell me something you are saying.
But that is gratitude, not offering, no? It's the same thing.
You are offering, okay, gratitude, but the point is you are connecting with the divine for what has been given to you. Yeah, you are right. Okay, very strictly speaking. But isn't there an offering of your gratitude? Okay, that's it.
Yes.
So it does come back to gratitude, offering. Okay, you are receiving something and you can receive without gratitude. But if you have received with gratitude, you will. Let me tell you an interesting story which I saw about Udar. Okay, mother used to have lunch with many people. Okay? And Udar also, she used to have it with Pranabda and others. Okay? Maybe Pavitra also used to be there, I'm not sure, but Pranabda was definitely there. And Adrada, when he was there also, probably he also used to participate. Then Udar wanted also to join the lunch. Okay, so mother said okay. And then one day, when Udar asked her something, she answered that he asked about yoga. So mother said, you don't have to do any yoga. I will do it for you. All you have to do is to connect with me. Whatever you are doing, just think of me. And then she gave an example and said, when you are eating, for instance, offer the food to me. Okay? And then what you will see is fantastic, because if you do it in the right spirit, you will see that even that food which you are tasting will taste 100 times better. Okay, so this is what is being said, that not only your food, but your possessions and everything. The first, in the book Prayers and Meditations of the Mother, the very first one, if you remember in Mother's handwriting, is you can offer your wealth, you can offer your actions, you can offer your everything, but the one who offers oneself whole benefits maximum. Okay, I'm not using the exact words, but that is the meaning of in her own handwriting, that is reproduced in the prayers and meditations. So that is what you have to do. Okay, so then we go back to the text. Okay, so whoever the recipient, whatever the gift, it is the supreme, the eternal in things who receives and accepts it, even if it is rejected or ignored by the immediate recipient. That's interesting. I give something to somebody, and that person, there is no gratitude, he may accept or he may not even accept. Okay. That can happen. Okay. There are many, many interesting cases like that. Okay. I remember once, Niruddha was very, very fond of tea. Okay. He never lost that habit of tea. And one day someone, oh, Niruddha likes tea. Okay. So gave him a packet of tea. And it was not Darjeeling tea. You know, Darjeeling tea is very light, but it has got tremendous flavor. There are people who like very thick tea, but Niruddha used to like Darjeeling tea. He used to measure the temperature and put the exact number of, and only 2-3 drops of milk in it and all. So when this person gave him the tea, he rejected. He said, no, 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 this tea. This tea I don't take, you take it away. So someone, the recipient can refuse, but it depends with what the giver, with what attitude he is giving. That's the main thing. So if he gives in the right way, everything finally goes to the divine. That's what he's saying. Whatever the recipient, whatever the gift, it is the supreme, the eternal in things who receives and accepts it, even if it be rejected or ignored by the immediate recipient. For the supreme who transcends the universe is yet here too. Omnipresence, no? He is there everywhere. However veiled in us and in the world. So when he is in us, it's an individual. The divine, individual divine in everybody. And in the world, he is there in the cosmos also. And in its happenings. He is there as the omniscient witness and receiver of all our works and their secret master. Okay. The omniscient witness and receiver is at the universal level. And as the secret master at the highest level, third level. All our actions, all our efforts, even our sins and stumblings and sufferings and struggles are obscurely or consciously known to us and seen, okay? Or else unknown and in a disguise, governed in their last result by the One. Where we, in the physical world, we talk of sin and good deeds, but for the divine, everything is action. So that's what he's saying, governed in the last result by the, in a disguise, governed in the last result by the One. All is turned towards him in his numberless forms and offered through them to the single omnipresence. In whatever form and with whatever spirit we approach him, in that form and with that spirit, he receives the sacrifice. This also is a reference to the Gita. Ye yatha mam, I've forgotten the exact words. Tan sathaiva bhajamyaham. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Yes, that's right. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Tan sathaiva bhajamyaham. I give them exactly in the same spirit. This is not to be interpreted as commerce. Okay, you give me this much, I'll give you that much. It's not that. When you are giving yourself to the divine, you are opening yourself. And the more you open yourself, naturally the divine will come in. If you keep your door half closed, how will he come in? He's not going to force the door. The divine never forces. Okay? If you keep your doors fully open, he will come in fully. Depends on how much you are opening yourself. That's the last bit. That also is from the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So that completes the...
Hello.
Yes, tell me.
Why did Nirodha refuse the tea?
Sorry, I didn't follow. Come nearer to the mic and tell me.
Why did Nirodha refuse to accept the Darjeeling tea?
I don't know. I can't say that, but I know I was there and I saw him refuse because he was not. Maybe he felt that it would be a waste. Okay, somebody else may have accepted and said, okay, I'll give it to somebody else. It depends. But that
No,
was
I think you meant it was not Darjeeling tea. It was some other tea. That's why he refused.
You meant like
that's right.
mentioned.
But even then, he need not have refused. Huh? He would have taken it. Okay. So, suppose
I think maybe the tea may be very good, But the attitude with which he gave may not be the right attitude.
That also is possible. Okay, that also is possible. Everything is possible. But I mentioned it because Swamde is saying, even if it is refused by the immediate recipient, that's why I mentioned it. All that you are saying is possible. Someone can give a gift to somebody with a wrong idea, and the wrong idea is, oh, if I give him this, he will give me something else. That's a wrong idea. Gifts, that also is discussed in the Gita. Okay? The dana, the gift that you are giving, can be sattvic, it can be rajasic, and it can be tamasic. That's a very interesting discussion in the Gita. So it's possible that his attitude was not right, but I don't know. I can't say. Okay. I mentioned it just because of this. There's also another thing. Okay. I mentioned another interesting incident. Okay. Human Bhai used to ask people sometimes for money for the ashram, and they used to give it to him. And he used to go and give it to the mother. So, mother knows that Jivan Bhai can't earn money, and it's not his money. So she asked him, who has given this money? Okay. This is all because of the discussion that we are having. Okay, I'm not indulging in gossip. I'm just telling you. So he answered, Mother, you take it that Human Bhai is giving you. Okay. So mother got a little annoyed and she said, I want to know who has given this. Okay. So if she had concentrated within herself, she would probably have known very well who has given, because she has the capacity to do that. But this movement of I am giving you, which is something not I have received, is not the right attitude at all. So she was probably targeting that. Okay, she was a little annoyed. I know this story is a real story, what I'm telling you. So when you are giving to the divine, something this is, you have to give it with the right attitude and not the wrong attitude. In fact,
this is general human tendency also, no?
Yes, that's
for
right.
everyone, like, because when there is something good happening, we always want to take the credit than giving it to someone else. So
That's right. That's right. So since we are discussing, I'll just tell you what the Gita says about gifting. Okay, it says that the gift can be tamasic, it can be rajasic, and it can be sattvic. The sattvic gift is one which you give to the right person the right thing. Okay. Suppose someone is very intelligent and he is not very rich, you give him a book which he doesn't have. Okay, and you don't expect anything back. Okay, I'm giving it to you because you deserve it, and you don't have it, so I'm giving it to you. That's the best attitude that you can have. It's a sattvic gift. Now, someone else is giving a birthday present to somebody else with the intention that if I give him a birthday present, he will also give it to me. That's a rajasic gift. Okay, so this is interesting. The attitude behind the gift matters a lot. Then the last one is very interesting. Okay, the Thomasin gift. The Thomasin gift is unwillingly. First of all, you are giving unwillingly. Secondly, you are giving to someone whose the gift that you are giving and the person receiving it are not in concordance at all. Okay, it's like giving a book to someone who is illiterate. Okay. Or giving a sweet to someone who doesn't like sweets. Okay, you have not thought about it. There is no sattvic element in it at all. It is absolutely tamasic, full of ignorance and stupidity. That is what the Gita says. So many different types of givings can be there. I mentioned this because Yasmin mentioned about the attitude with which that gentleman had given the gift. Okay, so all right. So we go to the next one. We have finished the paragraph, so we will go to the next one.
Shall I read?
Yes, please. And the fruit.
And the fruit also of the sacrifice of works varies according to the work, according to the intention in the work, and according to the spirit that is behind the intention. But all other sacrifices are partial, egoistic, mixed, temporal, incomplete. Even those offered to the highest powers and principles keep this character. The result too is partial, limited, temporal, mixed in its reactions, effective only for a minor or intermediate purpose. The one entirely acceptable sacrifice is the last and highest and utmost self-giving. It is that surrender made face to face with devotion and knowledge, freely and without any reserve, to one who is at once our immanent self, the environing constituent all. The supreme reality beyond this or any manifestation, and secretly, all these together, concealed everywhere, the imminent transcendence. For to the soul that wholly gives itself to Him, God also gives Himself altogether. Only the one who offers his whole nature finds the self. Only the one who can give everything enjoys the divine, all everywhere. Only a supreme self-abandonment attains to the supreme. Only the sublimation by sacrifice of all that we are can enable us to embody the highest and live here in the immanent consciousness of the transcendent spirit.
Okay. So now he is discussing the result of this sacrifice. What do you gain? What is the benefit for you? Okay. And the fruit also of the sacrifice of words varies according to the work, according to the intention in the work, and according to the spirit that is behind the intention. So just see, it depends on several things. Three things he has said. Okay, it depends on the work. What is the work you are doing? Is it minor or is it major? But also according to the intention in the work, this spirit in which you are giving. Okay? The intention in the work. The intention can be also wrong, no? And according to the spirit that is behind the intention. So it can be the intention as well as the that's interesting. So we're making a distinction between the intention and the spirit of the intention. Okay? The intention can be good and it can be bad also. Yeah? As I said just now, you can give something to somebody with the intention that I will get something back. That's not a very good intention. And the spirit behind is not good. Okay. But the sacrifice is there. You are giving something. So there is an intention and the spirit behind the intention. Okay. But all other sacrifices are partial, egoistic, okay, mixed, temporal, incomplete. Even those offered to the highest powers and principles keep this character. When you are in the beginning, when you are starting, this is always the human nature. We are starting from egoism and ignorance. Therefore, we are all partial, egoistic and mixed. All our, even the most intense aspiration, there's an intention behind that I want to be liberated. So that also ultimately, then even that has to go away. The desire for liberation also has to go away, self-dimensions. But in the beginning, it is bound to be mixed. Okay, no problem. Let it be less and less mixed as it keeps going up. That's what it is. So keep this character. Okay, even those offered to the highest powers and principles keep this character. The result too is partial. When your attitude is not the right one, the result is partial, limited, temporal, mixed in its reactions, effective only for a minor or intermediate purpose. Just now he has told you that there is a proportion between the way you give and the way you receive. The one entirely acceptable sacrifice is a last and highest and uttermost self-giving. And he is describing what the uttermost self-giving is. It is that surrender made face to face with devotion and knowledge. Now note that something can be given with devotion, but there may be no knowledge in it. But you have to have also knowledge and devotion both. Okay. Freely and without any reserve to one O-cap, to one who is at once our immanent self, the environment constituent all, the supreme reality beyond this or any manifestation, and secretly all these together, concealed everywhere. Now this is a very interesting sentence what he's saying. Look at the gradation that he's talking about. Okay. Devotion and knowledge, freely and without any reserve to one who is at once, he is three things at once. He is your immanent self, the divine within you, the environing constituent all, that's a cosmic, and the supreme reality beyond this or any manifestation, that's a transcendent. So, when you are giving to the divine wholly, you are giving to all the three. It's your psychic being which is giving, and you are giving to the universal divine, and you are also giving to the transcendent divine. Okay. So, this is what he is saying. The environing constituent all, the supreme reality beyond this or any manifestation. Now, Swayando's language is beyond this manifestation or any manifestation. Absolutely, he is going to the last bit. And secretly, all these together, concealed everywhere. The immanent transcendence. Now, isn't that a contradiction? The immanent is the one that is personal, in you, in the grain, in the atom, in the stone, in human beings, in dogs, everywhere, cats. But he is also transcendent. So the transcendent is there everywhere, the divine presence. How interestingly is the others make a distinction. The immanent is different from the transcendent. When they are saying they are all linked together, secretly linked together. For to the soul that wholly gives itself to him, God also gives himself altogether. Note that him is a lowercase him. So that's why sometimes they say that Swayando's capitalization is not absolutely consistent, but that doesn't make any difference. The meaning is very clear. For to the soul that wholly gives itself to him, God also gives himself altogether. Only the one who offers his whole nature, not only his mental thought, but also his emotions and also his actions in the physical, finds the self. Only the one who offers his whole nature finds the self. Only the one who can give everything enjoys the divine all everywhere. Only a supreme self-abandonment attains to the supreme. Only the sublimation by sacrifice of all that we are. Okay. Let me read that correctly. Only the one who can give everything enjoys the divine all everywhere. It's not the divine all everywhere. No, it is a divine all.
Divine all.
Yeah, the divine all everywhere. Only a supreme self-abandonment, completely you give yourself to the divine and you depend entirely on him for everything. Attains to the supreme. Only the sublimation by sacrifice of all that we are can enable us to embody the highest and live here in the immanent consciousness of the transcendent spirit. Live here. Here means in the physical world. Otherwise, your consciousness is up there and not living in the body-mind life. But if you give yourself entirely, you can be in the physical world also, in your body-mind life, and yet be the consciousness of the transcendent spirit.
Rangana, can you explain immanent and transcendent a little more? For me, it is not very clear.
Okay. The divine takes three poises. Okay.
Three?
Takes three poise. Okay. Poises. Okay. Just like I tell you, like water also takes three forms. Nah? It is solid, it is ice, it can be water, and it can be water vapor. Okay. There is a gradation of subtlety or grossness, whatever you want to say. So at the highest level, the divine who is not manifesting himself in the cosmos is the supreme, the transcendent. Transcendent means He is outside the universe. If the human being enjoys this consciousness as a transcendent, he will feel that he is not in the universe. Okay? He will feel himself to be outside the universe. In fact, your body-mind life is in the universe. You are watching it from above, but you are not in the body-mind life. You are not in the universe. You are above. That is the transcendent divine. Okay? But you can also see the divine in the universe. Okay? That's cosmic. So that's a slightly more manifested. The first one is absolute non-manifestation. The second one is the cosmic. That is what you call normally the pantheism. Pantheism is seeing the divine in the universe everywhere. Okay? And when you have that experience, you feel that, oh, the universe, nature is the divine. And you will get stuck in that. Okay? So that is the cosmic. But you may also realize the divine within yourself. Okay, through bhakti, you will realize that the divine is within you. Oh, why was I looking everywhere, here and there? Why was I going to the temples? He is there very much within me itself. Okay, that's the individual. So, usually these three realizations of the divine are exclusive. They are not usually inclusive. Okay. In other words, any one you can experience separately. 90% of the time it is separate. Okay. 90% of the time it is separate. And that's the reason why those who experience the self, they say that there is no personal divine. And those who experience the personal divine are limited to the non-cosmic. Okay? That they don't see the divine necessarily in the cosmos. So all these are different expressions. But Srimni is saying the divine is there everywhere. And I would like the integral yoga to realize all the three simultaneously. Okay? Tarika?
Hello.
Now it's clear?
Yeah. Last sentence, what you said, I didn't hear properly. The last sentence.
Last sentence, what I said was that he wants a combination of all three simultaneously together, not one by one.
Yeah.
There are three grades of experience. Either I can experience the transcendent and not the cosmic, the individual. I can experience the cosmic and not the transcendent and the individual. I can experience the divine individual, but not cosmic and transcendent.
Okay.
Or it may be a combination of any two. Okay. That's the second. And the third one, what Sudha wants is all the three together.
Yeah.
So that's why he's using the word. Yeah.
Most difficult.
Yeah. Okay. So
Hello.
Yes, tell me.
You know, the more you read Sri Aurobindo, the more I realize how deep down in ignorance and in the dump I am. And
Yes.
what he's talking is more of fantasy and imagination of going and merging with the transcendence or going to the supermind is a fairy tale, I would feel.
Yeah, but what seems to us fairy tale now can become a reality. Okay, he keeps telling you that. He says that it is more concrete than the physical world. What you're saying is true. When we are at the lower level, all that is there at the higher level, even if we accept, it is not real to us. Okay? And sometimes you may not even accept. The materialist does not accept. Okay? But even if you accept and have faith and say, no, I believe that the divine is there, but you have not realized him. So, and the third is to realize him. Not only believe in him, but realize him. And realize him also has got so many degrees. You can realize him inside yourself, you can realize him in the cosmos, you can realize him in outside the cosmos. And Shri wants you to realize all the together, not one by one even. Okay, so many different combinations. Yes, our ignorance is abysmal. We don't know at all. What we are understanding is with our mind, which is very, very, it's only a faint idea of what the divine is. Okay? Quite right. So we have time. We have about 10 minutes more. So shall we read one more?
I'll read the third one.
Okay. This
Yes. This, in short, is the demand made on us that we should turn our whole life into a conscious sacrifice. Every moment and every movement of our being is to be resolved into a continuous and a devoted self-giving to the eternal. All our actions, not less the smallest and most ordinary and trifling than the greatest and the most uncommon and noble, must be performed as consecrated acts. Our individualized nature must live in the single consciousness of an inner and outer movement dedicated to something that is beyond us and greater than our ego. No matter what the gift and to whom it is presented by us, there must be a consciousness in the act that we are presenting it to the one divine being in all beings. Our commonest or most grossly material actions must assume this sublimated character. When we eat, we should be conscious that we are giving our food to that presence in us. It must be a sacred offering in a temple, and the sense of a mere physical need or self gratification must pass away from us. In any great labor, in any high discipline, in any difficult or noble enterprise, whether undertaken for ourselves or for others or for the race, it will no longer be possible to stop short at the idea of the race, of ourselves, or of others. The thing we are doing must be consciously offered as a sacrifice of works, not to these, but either through them or directly to the one Godhead. The divine inhabitant who was hidden by these figures must be no longer hidden, but ever present to our soul, our mind, our sense. The workings and results of our acts must be put in the hands of that one, in the feeling that that presence is the infinite and most high, by whom alone our labor and our aspiration are possible. For in his being, all takes place. For him, all labor and aspiration are taken from us by nature and offered on his altar. Even in those things in which nature is herself very plainly the worker, and we only the witnesses of her working and its containers and supporters, there should be the same constant memory and insistent consciousness of her work and of its divine master. Our very inspiration and respiration, our very heartbeats can and must be made conscious in us as the living rhythm of the universal sacrifice.
Look at that last sentence. Our very inspiration and respiration, our breathing also. We must feel the divine, okay, everywhere. He is doing everything. Our very heartbeats can and must be made conscious in us. Can, okay? It's possible. Don't think it's not possible. Can and must, okay, be made conscious in us as the living rhythm of the universal sacrifice. This sacrifice is being done everywhere. It's a fairly long paragraph. Okay.
Sometimes like this, when it is there, no, this type of thing, there is, unless there is a certain kind of madness, it cannot come. No?
Yes, you are right. But it's a sensible madness. It's a very logical madness. Okay, that's right. You come.
What is universal sacrifice?
Okay, that's an interesting question, because when the divine is manifesting himself, okay, he is losing, as I told you, in the manifestation, there is a diminution. And there is a diminution. So what happens in the universe? Finally, there is matter, and matter is the most unconscious and the most gross. So the divine is actually giving him his subtlety, his consciousness, his power, and plunging himself down into the universe to help the lowest. That is the sacrifice. In fact, the universal sacrifice is the divine sacrifice. Okay, in the mother, Okay, he says something very interesting. He says the sacrifice of the Purusha, okay, the one who is sacrifices himself, but much more really and in every sense, he says it is the sacrifice of the Divine Mother. Okay, it's a holocaust. It's a complete destruction of the divine. It completely gives up. The divine gives up his consciousness, gives up his power, gives up his consciousness, and plunges himself down into the world to redeem it and to take it back to its source. That is what is the universal sacrifice. This concept is a little difficult for the mind to understand because on the one hand we are told that the divine is doing it as an adventure by himself, and on the other hand you are saying that it's a sacrifice. Okay. So mentally this it does create a problem. If someone can explain this to me, I'll be very happy. But this is a problem for me, okay? Because how can it be a sacrifice if you are doing it willingly? Oh, of course a sacrifice can be willingly done, no? Okay.
Then
so
it is no more a sacrifice. That's an
that-
offering then.
Yeah, that was my problem. So anyway, this is the thing. So it is tricky. In other words, the mind can't understand all these things very well. But Yasmin's question was, what is the universal sacrifice? The universal sacrifice is the divine manifesting himself in the universe, okay, the second level, but by sacrificing and reducing. All manifestation is a reduction, okay, and also a small distortion also. There is a reduction, a diminution, as well as a distortion of the consciousness, the power, and the ananda. All these three at the highest level get reduced to such an extent that it becomes the opposite of the divine in matter. So that is the sacrifice.
But that is up to, because it is his choice,
That's exactly what
the
I'm saying.
divine's choice.
Yeah, so that's my problem. If it is by sacrifice, if it's a choice, you are taking a challenge yourself. You are challenging yourself and you are going down. I'm playing a game with myself. Okay, if you take it in that sense, which is true, but then these two truths are sort of clashing a little bit. At the mental level,
Yes.
it's very difficult to understand. Both are true. The divine is playing a game. He is hiding himself in that which is the opposite of himself. And through a long adventure, he is finding himself back again. Through whom? Through every individual on earth. So, on
That is
one,
the only explanation, no?
pardon?
That divine Leela is the only explanation for all the whys.
That's
Why?
right.
Question why.
Yeah. You can't understand.
but
Yes.
But the biggest mystery is
Ah.
why the hell is he playing hide and seek with us?
Okay. That is not very difficult to understand. Okay. Don't we all play hide and seek as children? Is there not an enjoyment in the play? Yasmin?
When there is suffering, then how there is enjoyment?
So that's the thing. That's what I said. This is the opposite.
And in order to realize how much suffering we have to go through.
Exactly.
No, wait. We are going through or he is going through?
Both of us.
When,
But
no,
we
when we
cannot
are
see
in
that
this
he's
consciousness,
holding
we
our
are going
hand.
through.
Okay, but then you realize afterward. That's why Sridhar Bhavan uses the word justification. When you go to the higher level of consciousness, all the suffering and all the difficulties are justified. Okay, justified. Oh, this difficulty was created so that I can come out of it and enjoy this difficulty, and the ignorance was not permanent. It was a challenge for me to get out of it and come, and now I'm so happy. Okay, so that is the, you have to see it in that way. Yeah, some of these concepts are not very easy to understand. Okay, they are quite difficult. But anyway,
Here, Dankada, here I would like to share a small experience of mine,
tell me.
which I've gone through right now. Like,
Yeah.
Like when last 7-8 months I was, in going through all surveying and seeing what my husband is going through and all that.
Yes.
It was very difficult, and I didn't want to. I still prayed that somehow he should get well and all that. Then one day I mean, like, with lot, slowly as I understood that no, it is her decision to do whatever and let go. Once I started letting go, I really found peace, Rangada, which was not, I mean, like, unless you've gone through it, you can't believe that really. And now when I came back home with going through all the functions and everything, so what I'm finding is I am consoling people. People come crying to me, hug me and start crying, expecting me to cry. But somewhere deep down, I'm completely untouched with that, how to put it, to that sadness or that this thing. And in fact, people come to me, hug me, and then they, like they also start become silent, and then they go back, I think, more peaceful than
At
when they
peace.
had come.
Wow,
Yeah,
wonderful.
they're more at peace after. So this is something, I mean, I've gone through recently, so I can realize, yes, it is possible to take most, I mean, like, though it's a small experience, maybe this is timing, but it is possible, a glimpse of that you can say, Rangada. Just when we were discussing that, because I've gone through it just now, maybe I had a glimpse of it, so I thought I could share. But
Yeah. It's a very interesting thing what you're saying, because I'll tell you something. There was a person in the ashram, okay, you don't know her, so I won't mention her. But when her father died, instead of suffering, okay, she was absolutely calm and quiet, and she went to the extent of saying that it was the experience of the self. She became the witness, absolutely calm and unattached. But this is not insensitivity. It is not at all insensitivity. So what Archanadi is telling is very, very similar to that. You become calm and quiet, and then you become the source of reconciliation and kindness to others. So your attitude gets rubbed off on others also. Okay? So it's very nice. Archanadi, thank you for sharing this experience, because I know you have gone through a very difficult patch. Yeah. But if you take the right attitude, as you said, you will one benefits. So this suffering that we are talking about, okay, just now we spoke about suffering, okay, but that suffering can be a very rewarding experience when it is conquered. That's what we have to remember. Okay.
but this is one place I can share. I can't share these experiences. I mean, people will not understand also sometimes.
Yeah, you're quite right. And that's why these things, when you tell them, they will interpret it as insensitivity.
Insensitivity.
They will say, oh my God, this person so dear to me passed away, and there's no reaction. What is it? In fact, this is the normal thing. Na? I'll tell you, when people don't, they engage people to come when there's a death in the family, there are professional mourners. You know that, na? There are professional mourners who come and start crying. Okay. So, in fact,
And produce so much disharmony in the bargain for the
yeah,
soul.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I feel,
Yeah.
hello,
Yes.
I feel that sufferings and obstacles are like a hurdle race, and you have to cross 10 hurdles in order to reach the final point.
Yes.
So each and every obstacle which comes in our life is
Yes.
a hurdle. And it's only if you cross it that you can go ahead to the second hurdle.
Yes.
But you must know that you have to overcome all the hurdles in order to finally reach that bliss, peace, ananda, whatever transcendence.
Yeah.
So that's my way of thinking. I don't know whether it's right or wrong.
Actually, the point is that, yeah, these difficulties are there, but then you feel them horrible when you are in the ignorance. But once you are not in the ignorance, you see, the Sri uses the word justification. All the difficulties, all the suffering is justified in the end. You understand the purpose of it. That's what he's saying. Okay, 8:40. So I say au revoir to everybody.
Rangada.
Have a nice day.
Wonderful day.
Thank you, Rangada.
Yeah.
Next time, from where do we read?
Yeah, I'll make a note. Okay, so we have to make a note. Page 111. Page 111. And
No, we have to go through this chapter, no, this para
We
again,
have
no?
to go through the para.
Okay.
This in short.
Okay, right. Redo. So you just put 111. Redo this.
Redo. Yes.
I'll also make it. Yeah, because there should be no confusion. Let's do that. I'll make it. Okay, au revoir, everybody.
Thank you, Manada.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay.